Good evening, young Padawans and fellow Jedi Knights. It is I, Redneck Jedi, with you again on Monday night. Because why? Well, it's two Ewoks in the park, right here on Accidental Punch. The Geek and the Redneck, Sully and myself, going to go over Andor episodes 9 and 10 tonight. So sit back, relax, grab your favorite adult beverage or just something to sip on and your popcorn, and let's go have some fun. Sully, it is all yours.
Oh, why, thank you, sir. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Two Ewoks in the Park. As JT so thankfully mentioned, we're here. We're here, and we're ready to go. We're ready to go
Here.
have some
We're
fun.
here. Get used to it.
Yes. And like he said, we are going to be discussing Andor, Season 1, Episodes 9 and 10, and boy, was there a lot happening. It felt so quick, too, with these episodes.
It did. It really did. Both episodes did not feel like they were 50 minutes long.
No, definitely not. Now, before we get started, last week, you were saying, I hope it picks up, and, I hope nothing changes, like you wanted to keep it going. Okay.
Well, what I was saying was that, the intensity level or the speed dropped, but the intensity level went up.
Yes.
So I said it was going to be interesting to see where they go from here.
Yes.
Well, boy, did I get that answer.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure, that I specifically stated to you, just wait.
Yeah, well, but you've watched the whole thing, so you knew.
I did. So I was just like, just wait, because you're going to be floored.
Yeah. Episode 9 was really, really good. I truly enjoyed episode 9. But episode 10, all I can say is holy fuck. That's all I can say on that. Great episode. You put the two together, those two episodes together to watch back to back is perfect.
Yeah.
That is so far in the series that those are the best two back to back episodes to watch.
It really is. And what's cool about it is it didn't feel like it was getting drawn out. Number one.
Not at all. Not at all.
And number two, it was also at the point where you were kind of hoping that there was going to be this crescendo, so to speak. Because no joke, each episode has had that. You've had that constant build and then that drop and then the build. You knew what to kind of expect. Right. And number one, the title of episode 9 itself, Nobody's Listening. Nobody's Listening. That is the main title of the episode. I love what they did here.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt.
And one of the reasons that I love what they did is mainly because it paints the picture not just for what's happened in the past, but also how the Empire is kind of like turning a blind eye, so to speak.
Well, it's revisiting. It's revisiting an old theme from episodes, I want to say 3 and 4.
Yeah,
where we talked about the fact that the Empire is just so conceited.
Yes.
They are so they're all about themselves, and nobody is better than us. Nobody can defeat us. Nobody would even bother to screw with us.
They can do no wrong is what they can. That's
so,
what they say.
We don't really have to be on our toes.
Right.
Who cares if the guy on guard duty falls asleep? It's not a big deal.
Right.
That kind of attitude. And anytime anybody has taken that kind of attitude, it has always ended badly.
Yeah, Yeah.
So, as I felt the build up and Cassian brought that subject up again, I was like, oh, here we go. And see, here's the thing.
Yep.
Just like with the Sully Show, how I never open articles
Yes.
before we're doing them.
Mm-hmm.
I do not read the episode descriptions.
No.
Before I watch it.
So
I don't even read
blindly.
the episode title before I watch it.
So you go in completely blind.
Yes. And that is exactly the way I want to do it, because then I'm going in with an open mind.
Yes.
I'm not going in with, okay, something's going to happen. Something's going to happen.
Oh, of course. Something's going to happen.
But,
I mean, come on.
But my mind's not sitting there going, okay, maybe it's going to be this, maybe it's going to be that, because of what I'm being led into.
Right.
By the description of the episode.
Completely understandable.
Yeah. It's just the way I am. Like I said, it's just like I do with the Sully Show and the stories that we're doing.
Yeah. And that's a
I'm weird
good
that
thing.
way.
Yeah, but that's a good thing. If you think about it, it kind of helps paint the picture for you a little bit better, especially for you, because and don't get me wrong, you've always been a Star Wars guy. You've always been a Star Wars guy.
I've always loved Star Wars.
Yes.
That's proof behind me.
But and I stress the but just a little bit when it comes to this, is that I don't think you were fully engulfed in it like I was at one point in time, Well,
and the thing with that is, you have had all your life, you have had the comic book thing going on,
yes.
With the superheroes and you've known about all the sub series,
Yep.
Bad Bunch and all those. You've known about those for a long time.
Certainly.
Where I haven't. And as far as I knew, there was only the 6 movies.
Right.
Until they came out with Mandalorian and started coming out with these little sub series, and that's where I found out about the old series. Want to say hi to our good friend from across the northern border, the crochet queen herself.
Yes.
Miss Carol. She has joined us this evening.
Woo woo.
So we can walk her through episodes 9 and 10. I love the fact here a little while back, she made a comment. She said, I don't need to watch them. Because I listen to you guys and it's like I'm watching the episodes. And I always thought that was really cool.
And she's 100% a supporter of the show and channel, which is awesome.
Yes. We love Carol. Carol is the best.
She kicks butt and takes names. That's what she does.
And she does it with a crochet needle in her hand.
Also true.
That's the tricky part.
Also true. So she does good. Not going to lie. She does good.
Carol says it's too cold outside to go knitting.
Well, that's winter in Canada for you.
Right. And it's not far off from that here right now, but
Well, you've got more snow than I do, so.
Actually, we don't have any snow now.
Oh, well, that's good. So it melted.
Yes, it went by, thank God.
Good for you. So, in the long run, the episode itself.
So 9?
Yep, episode 9. There's Nobody's Listening is the title.
Right.
And it fits it because we're at the point where now the episodes are starting to run together. Now, mind you, this whole season is a year in Cassian Andor's life. So this is taking place 5 years before the Battle of Yavin, before the Death Star explodes. So this is 5 years before it. And this is the first year where Andor is I don't want to say getting highly involved, but shit's hitting the fan.
This is when he first experiences the true rebellion.
Yes.
He feels like he's been part of it because he's been, stealing this equipment from the Empire and selling it and all these kind of things. But up until then, he's really been an outside lurker, way out on the fringes
Oh,
of
hands
what the
down.
rebellion really is. But now before he got arrested and sent to jail, um, he was really starting to feel what the rebellion really was.
Yeah.
So,
And we're seeing some of the ramifications of the heist,
mm,
which is, whew, boy, are we seeing ramifications. I mean, the entire episode, the whole first beginning of the episode is Lieutenant Miro
right?
doing the interrogation of Bix, because that's
Yes.
where we left off. We left off where she was being arrested by the Imperial Security Bureau, or the ISB, and
And being shown to the chair.
yep, shown to the chair. Sit down. You're gone. We're going to get any and all information out of you that we possibly can. Which,
We're gonna talk.
yeah, we're gonna talk.
The biggest question is going to be: is it going to be voluntarily or
Right.
not so voluntarily?
And
But
that's the
I
biggest
love
thing.
the torture method.
Oh, the torture method is amazing.
I mean, it is, torture has always been about physical and or mental anguish and pushing someone to and beyond the limits of what they can stand.
Which is what the Empire is good for.
Yes.
You know,
And the way that they've done it here with I call him Dr. J is what comes to my head.
Yep.
With Dr. J was purely audio sound. I mean, it's nothing but an audio recording, but he actually describes what it is.
Yes.
And it's mostly adults screaming and hollering and anguish and pain and everything else. But right in the middle of it, there's kids. And kids can get to anybody. I don't care who the hell you are. When you hear young girls and young boys and babies crying and screaming for mom and all that good stuff, I mean, it chokes me up even now just talking about it. The acuity they had in drilling down on that,
Yeah,
with this torture, and seeing Bix's reaction as it got worse and worse and worse was truly fascinating and very, very well done.
yes.
Now, I'm not about torture. Okay, I'm not. You're either going to give me the information or you're not going to be alive anymore.
Well,
That's me. I mean,
and
so
that's kind of where they were leading toward, because the person that was in the chair before was Salman Pack, who
right.
Worked in the repair shop. They really used the technology that they had in order to track the radio down that they used in order to get that call out saying, hey, the Empire's here, shit's hitting the fan,
Right.
to get that word out. So in a lot of ways, it was Bix's fault that he got caught to begin with, because she was using the radio.
Right.
So when they caught her, obviously, we saw Pac pretty much beaten and battered and bloodied and interrogated so bad that he was very resilient and did not give up any information, which they used to get her, basically to get in her mind, really.
Right. And that's the thing with Pac. He may have been a little bit bloody, but they don't use physical torture in this, and that's the thing. He had a little bit of a bloody nose and stuff, but that could have been, from him being stressed out from what he was hearing.
Yeah.
You get to a certain point and your body reacts, and him having a bloody nose could have been that. So they really didn't touch him other than to strap his ass down. Want to say hi to an initiator, just came in the chat room and said, meh.
What up? The other thing is, and I mean, this whole scene was actually a pretty long scene for the start of the show, because they went into everything from the two of them with the radio to Andor, as well as a hidden female that could have potentially stolen or acquired the technology in order to, sell it. And they were
Right,
kind
and
of,
this was way back in the beginning
yeah, and
when
they were
all of
kind
this
of
was starting.
and they were kind of pinning it on Bix.
Right, and that was the kind of the neat thing about this. I'm glad they went as far into it as they did, because he even told Bix about the information that they had gotten from Pat.
Yeah.
And that's
Oh
something
yeah.
you don't normally do unless you're trying to guide somebody down a certain path. But
Right.
there was only one path that they were trying to go with it. So I thought that the detail that they went into in this part, even though it did stretch out a little bit, it it didn't have pacing problems.
No, it really
which
didn't.
which that kind of scene is very, very easy to have a pacing problem because of what
Yeah.
you're doing.
Oh yeah.
So it was very, very well done, very, very well timed,
Mm-hmm.
and everything else. And the fact that they got Bix to talk
Well, they
says
got her
a
to
lot.
talk, but they didn't really get a lot of information from her.
Right.
It wasn't one of those snitches get stitches type of things.
Right, little small nuggets that added on, and this is where I think the lieutenant made her mistake. Mora is where I think she made her mistake, was telling her about the stuff that she learned from Pac, because
Yes.
then she knew in her head, in a way, that all she had to do was add a little bit to each thing that they had already learned from Pac.
Cuckoo, cuckoo, and you're on your way back to the big old blue.
Right, exactly. And here's the thing is, she kept drilling down on the 6 times you've had meetings with, damn it, what was she calling him?
Come on, I know you know it. I know you know it.
Damn it, I want to say Sticks, but I know it's not Sticks.
Nope.
Oh, I can't think of it.
Come on, you know it.
It's stuck back here. It's
You're
not
so
coming out.
close. You're so close. It's Axis.
Axis, that's it.
Axis.
Axis and Allies. Why didn't I think that? But yeah, 6 meetings with Axis, you had to get to know him.
Yes.
And that's the thing. That's where Axis was very, very smart.
Yeah.
Because he kept things very compartmentalized.
Well, that and he never gave his real name.
Exactly. You only know the information that you need to know.
Right.
And you don't need to know anything about me other than the fact that I am one of the leaders in the rebellion, one of the top people, blah, blah, blah.
I'm putting the strings.
That's all you need to know.
I'm the puppet master.
So it was a very well run interrogation, but I still think that was the one mistake that Mora made, was telling her what they learned from Pac, because then that gave her an avenue where she could give information, but
yeah, sure. I mean,
not really anything vital.
And the fact that their main concern, even though they were looking for Andor, was really Axis. She wanted Axis. She didn't care about anybody else, and she didn't care who she was going to hurt in the process either. So from there, they want Axis. We know that Axis is Ruthen.
Right.
Not Ruthen. Wow, Luthen. Wow. Holy crap. Someone can clip that if you want.
and here's the thing. The guy who lost his job and his mama got him a new job and all that good stuff. The one that she did the interview with in episode 8.
Yep.
She's having the same problem that he had, and the fact that there was so much funnel vision. He was drilling down so much on finding Cassian, and she's doing the same thing. She's drilling down so much on finding Axis that it may end up, I'm not going to say it is, but it may end up being detrimental to her and the
Yeah,
mission that she's attempting.
and don't get me wrong. I already know what's going to happen because I'm done the series. We have
Yeah,
two
yeah,
more
yeah.
episodes after this one for next week. But the one thing that you have to remember is that's her job now, is to find Axis because of
Mhm.
the heist that happened
Right.
before. Now it's top priority, and
Yeah,
she's in
she's
command. She's in control. You know.
right. She's finally been able to tie these old instances that they were looking at before. She's been able to finally tie those together. And
Yeah.
I gotta say this. I gotta say this. I don't know what it is. The head guy in the ISB.
Uh huh.
Okay, something about him. I don't know what it is. I can't describe it. I can't explain it. But there's something about him that just doesn't feel right.
Um.
Like I said, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just me overreacting to something or whatever. The conversation that he had with Mora when they walked out
Miro.
together,
Miro.
with Miro, sorry,
Yep.
when they walked out together and he told her, watch your back. I think he wanted to say more, but
Yeah.
couldn't.
So
And that's why I say there's something about him that is just that doesn't feel right.
so if I remember correctly, the person that you're referring to is Wolf Yularen. Okay.
Right.
And
The head guy at the ISP.
and this is actually a younger version because I believe the original
Mm-hmm.
actor who played him isn't alive anymore. He's not alive anymore.
Right.
Who you could see in A New Hope on the Death Star. So
Is that who that is?
yeah,
Okay.
I'm pretty
Maybe
sure,
that's what it was.
I'll have to go back and look, but I'm pretty sure that he is one of the men on the council that Grand Moff Tarkin is talking to, Vader and all of them. I'm pretty sure he's one of those characters. I'd have to go back and look, but just don't quote me on it. How about that?
It would make sense though.
Yes, it would. Absolutely. It
You know,
would make sense.
because if he does a good job with this, then then they're going to move him up.
Yeah. And
They're going to move it. So I could see that. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe
yeah.
that's what it is.
And he was a very high-ranking official in the Republic Army anyway. So it was basically fight or flight. You're going to join the Imperial Army anyway, and you'll be done with it.
Right.
So again, I'd have to go back, but yes, he is the one that'll say watch your back because he knows what people will do to stab people in the back and advance in their careers because it happens. I'm sure he's done it.
Oh yeah.
It's all fishy to begin with. Now, the other thing you have to wonder, and mind you, we're kind of jumping around a little bit with this episode, but with the interrogation, the torture that they were using, aside from the shots that they gave her, was all sound. It was all sound waves. It was, as they put it, sound torture. And mind you, yes, I know we're jumping around because we're going to get into
mental.
Yeah, it's all like boom there. It's to affect her brain to the point to give up the information so she doesn't get tortured anymore. And she's doing a really good job of not giving things up, which is phenomenal. At the same time, Cassian is on the prison world of Narkina 5.
Right.
And as I said in the previous episode, and a few episodes before that, Cassian is a watcher.
Yes.
We've established he's a watcher.
And observer.
Since like the first episode of Andor.
Oh, right off the bat.
He is the type of person that will look and observe and figure out what needs to be done. Okay?
His mind is always going. His mind is always working.
Yes. So currently, He's on, what was it? Level 5 day shift, right?
5-2D.
5-2D. Yep. Thank you. So they're they're making stuff. They're making stuff. You know, we don't know what they're making up, but they're making stuff. Shark, hello, Shark. We're talking about Andor episode 9. So if you haven't seen Andor on Disney Plus, by the way, Disney Plus does not sponsor this show, but it'd be really cool if they did. Of course, they're probably not even going to notice people like us, but you know, whatever.
And don't call me Pops.
Yeah, he's not a Pops. JT's not a Pops. Is that Star Wars? Yes, it is Star Wars. It's within the Star Wars universe, the galaxy, so to speak, and it's all good. It's all good because
it's all good. It's all good, Shark. I was just messing with you.
If you haven't watched it, obviously huge spoilers. Mm-hmm. Huge spoilers because we're breaking everything down.
And here's the thing. I'm telling you this, and this is not something that comes out of my mouth very often. You need to go watch this if you can.
Yes,
it is good, and we describe as much as we can, but it's not the same as watching it yourself.
Yeah. Shark.
Have a good one, Shark. See you. Come back tomorrow night, 8 o'clock to 10 p.m. for the Sully Show. We're gonna have a lot of fun and laugh a lot.
Oh yes, tomorrow will be freaking awesome because our show prep is pretty much almost full with awesome shit. So yeah, hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. That'd be fantastic. Absolutely. Come on down. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Yeah. So back to what's going on with Andor. He's observing everything that's going on around him, and he's building the tools or the machinery, so to speak, that everybody else is building in the room. And we're seeing more and more of the prisoners, kind of getting into things. And this was really awesome when we saw this because we see an arrival of a new prisoner. He jumps in right away. They do what they need to do. He's, the whole spiel of when he first came on. So we're already, what would you say, a few months in, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's been there for a while.
They're a few months into the prison sentence for Andor. And once the shifts end, well, actually, even before that, one of the other prisoners, the older one, I'm trying to remember his name. It's not Olaf.
That'd be too easy.
It would be too easy. Ulaf, maybe. He was the older prisoner. He was the older prisoner. And he hurt his hand. He injured his hand. He needed help. And they offered a switch. Andor switches with him, and they go, "Well, hey, what's going on? What's the issue here? Let's just get him into a better position so he can heal his hand." Okay, and if I remember correctly, one of the younger guys, Taga, he's like, "Yeah, let's do it. Dude, you're hurt, man. We still got to keep up. Do this.
Right.
You do that. We've got you. We'll protect you.
Switch places, and let's do what we need to do." And to be honest, it was the smart move. Mm-hmm.
It was a smart move because if you haven't watched the episode before, which is perfectly fine, you have to remember that the teams in the room on the day shift are doing competition with other teams throughout.
Right.
Not just on their floor and their shift, but on all the other floors in the prison. The one thing that you also have to worry about when it comes to this is, what if the other person on your team can't do the work?
Right.
So now you have to pick up the slack. Okay. And this is when we first see Andor kind of take a break.
Right.
and he goes to the refresher or the bathroom. The bathroom. Yeah, love the bathroom, you know. Where we see him trying to attempt to cut open a pipe.
Right.
And this is really, this is the stuff that we didn't see before in the previous episode because, you know, obviously it's months apart. But it just goes to show you how observant Andor is. Right. It really is. It's very, very like detailed oriented of what he notices.
Right. I think it was Olaf.
Olaf, right? With a U, right?
Yes.
Okay.
ULAF.
That's what I thought it would be. Olaf.
Mm-hmm.
So while he's there, we see a new person come in, you know?
Right.
Speaker come, you know, over the intercom. Hey, you got a new person. Everybody hands up, you know, do whatever.
On program.
Yep, on program. And well, the new guy kind of does a I'm not going to cooperate type of thing. And right. JT's got a cat butt in his face.
Yes, I do.
Those darn cats. So we see that it's still business as usual. Business as usual. New guy coming in. Here are the rules. Don't mess around. Come in, do your work. We produce to win. Because if we don't win, you lose. And if you lose, then we lose. Okay? And it's interesting because Olaf is still trying to do the work. Now, mind you, his sentence is almost done.
41 shifts.
Yep, 41 shifts. His sentence is almost done. Mm-hmm. And it's just amazing how well these guys have come together to protect their own on their team, you know?
Right. Well, I mean, you know, just like in real life, you know, when you work with somebody for so long.
Yeah.
You know, and you get to know them and everything, you feel that even though you're in prison and you're not supposed to, you don't really want to try and build friendships and those kind of things.
Yep.
In that kind of environment, you can't help but do that.
Yes. And at the end of the shift, obviously their team didn't make number one, but they did do a really good job.
Yes, they did.
They weren't in last place.
No, that was table one.
Table one came in last place. And we know what happens when you come in last place.
This was the first time they've actually shown it.
Yeah.
Well, they actually had that table, all the guys on that table walked into the middle of the floor. And I never noticed up until then that in the center of the floor, there's this grid.
Yes.
Like 9 boxes wide, you know, three across,
yep.
3 down. And all the guys from that table had to walk on the pad, and they got zapped right there in front of everybody. Which to me was pretty interesting.
Yeah. Well, from there, you know, the shift ends. Mm-hmm. Everybody gets queued up to leave. And this was the interesting part. And this is what I thought was really cool. We've seen in the previous episode when they were queued up, people were talking to people using facial expressions, hand signals to other prisoners on other floors. So there was communication going back and forth between all the other floors. And we see the power go out ever so slightly because the queue to go back to their racks was taking a little bit longer than normal. Mm-hmm. But that's when the alerts are going between prisoners that something happened on level 2.
Right.
And with the power going out and everything like that, people are saying that the rumors are everybody was just killed on level 2. Everybody. They fried and electrocuted everyone. There's no level 2 right now.
100 people.
Yep.
Both shifts. It turned out it was both shifts that they
Both
they
shifts,
zapped.
day and night. Yes, absolutely. Yep. And the one thing that they were saying was, these are just rumors. You don't even know what they're saying. They were very dead set that this didn't happen. But then Andor decides to ask the new guy if he ever thought about escaping.
Was it the new guy?
Well, no. Well, as one of the new guys, he thought about, he asked Loy, who was what's his name there, Andy Serkis, his character Loy. He asked him if he ever thought about escaping, and he said he wasn't going to answer that. He had 217 shifts left. I'm not answering it. No way, no how. We're done. We're done this conversation.
But that reaction in itself answered his question.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That answer in itself, it was like, yes, I have, but I'm not going to talk about it. So leave me alone.
Yeah.
But
the cool thing was he kept pressing him about the secrets of the prison because he was there the longest. He was the shift leader.
Asking questions.
So he's questioning and doing whatever he needs to do to figure out what's going on. And he gets to the point where he says, wait a second. The guards don't care about us.
Well, and that's what he's asking is how many guards on each floor?
Yeah. How many guards are there? How many
guards?
How many people do you see physically on each floor? And he never answered. He never really answered.
I think it was that he didn't want to get his hopes up. I think that's why. He'd been there long enough to where, and he thought about it. He made plans. He looked at them, just all that kind of stuff. It's hard to know for sure.
Yeah. But
it's something that he's thought about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hands down.
Just from his reaction. So, but he had given up.
Yeah.
He had said, look, I've got 217 ships left to go, and then I'm out of here. I'm going home.
Yeah. Well,
go ahead.
From there, though, and this was the interesting part. From there, Andor flat out says, nobody is listening.
Right.
Nobody is listening.
The thing you have to remember here is they're all in their, I guess you could call it their dormitory.
Yep.
They're all in their sleeping quarter rooms and cubbies and all that stuff, and they're talking back and forth. And he's like, I don't want to talk about it. Just be quiet, blah blah blah. And Andrew's like, look, they're not listening. They're not. Why would they be listening to us? They feel like they're so dominant and nobody can mess with them. They're not listening to us. They don't care.
Yeah.
They know or they feel like they can zap us anytime they want to. And I loved how they ended the episode because all you hear is, no one's listening.
Yeah. But again, we'll get to there because there's still a lot more that happens in this episode. And the one thing about this, mind you, we're only in the prison right now.
Right.
We haven't even touched Mon Mothma and her cousin yet, which we're not really gonna go real deep into. This is the more important part, is this prison, okay? Because from there, all right, we've already talked about the sound torture with Bix and on Ferrix and everything. This is really the main thing where one of the prisoners starts discussing the news that 100 men were spread across 2 shifts on level 2 and they were all electrocuted. And they ask where they heard the news from. And one of the prisoners says that Zinska, who's one of the prisoners, heard that they were making trouble. That level 2 was making trouble. The new prisoner, however, claims that Zinska freed them. That's when, Loy kind of gets angry as it turns around. We're doing this. Get back in line. Like, starts to take control over everything again. And he dismisses everything. It's just a rumor. It didn't happen. There's no way.
And what started this is there was this frantic conversation.
Yes.
I guess you could call it a conversation, but the hand language back and forth between people on different levels and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And that is when that came up, and he's like, "How long does it take for a true message to get from there to here?"
Yeah.
It's not happening on this, conversation that you're having back and forth.
Nope.
It takes days.
Yeah.
For it to get you. So, and so he had to take back control. Otherwise they were going to get zapped.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's when we start seeing that Yulof is hurting. He's struggling to keep up. Now, mind you, he's one of the older prisoners there. He only had a couple of shifts left. He was almost done. He was going to be let go eventually. We do touch up on Mon Mothma. Thank you. That's another one that I'll figure out the clip eventually.
That's all, folks.
Bringing, talking to her cousin and how the Emperor's got new public safety legislation going on. There's things happening. I don't really want to go into a lot of details on that just because it's basically like family drama right now with her and the Senate going back and forth with things, so on and so forth.
Kind of fundraise and,
Yeah. And from there, we also see that Miro is reporting in from Ferrix, delivering all her reports to Major Partagaz about the interrogation for Bix. So that's probably who you were thinking of, the one who said watch your back, Major Partagaz.
Yeah, the old guy that's in charge of the ISP.
Yeah, yeah. So she's reporting directly to him, telling him what's going on, so on and so forth, and there's not really much going on. We also have Cyril Karn. He's still obsessed with trying to find Andor, which clearly he hadn't checked any of the prison databases because, even though he had a different name, his picture's still in there. And we talked about that last week. Like, your picture is there.
One of the things that Bix did reveal in her interrogation was that he had shaved his beard.
Yes, he shaved his beard. That's
his beard.
That's it. They also go into the staging of an accident with a Star Destroyer to lure out Axis and try to get some military intelligence. So that's happening all behind the scenes right now.
Right.
But really, it doesn't really get into a lot of detail with it. It's just, no, let's do it. Are you sure? You think we could do it? Yeah, we could do it. Let's do it. And in a lot of ways, it could potentially work. It could bring somebody out of hiding and do whatever. It's a trap. They're setting a trap. It's a trap.
Yeah. And one of the guys is like, we found, this freighter was discovered with a dead pilot.
Yeah.
He says, I think we should do what we normally do.
Yes.
When something like that happens, we come in and we investigate. And if we don't, people are going to start wondering.
Yep.
What's going on? So we need to keep the status quo, so to say.
Yeah. And from there, we see Yulof hurting again. We're back
Badly.
to prison. He's hurting. And if you look at it, it kind of looks like he's having a heart attack.
That was my first thought.
I thought he was having a heart attack. They Andor pushes the trolley. He basically takes over for Olaf and does the hard stuff for him.
Right.
But it's also the end of the shift, so Loy tells intercoms that the low yield tables are in position. Loy orders table 2 to take the shift by 6 racks and 3. He orders to table 1 to get in the box. During a drill, Olaf almost collapses from exhaustion and is held up by his fellow inmates, but the prisoners are subject to a debilitating audio sting. Yeah, it's hurting them.
Mm-hmm.
It's hurting them. And clearly at this point, table 1 lost. So table 1 is out, so to speak. But as they're returning back to their bunks or racks, as JT and I have been calling it, Olaf is getting to the point where he's going to be non-responsive, and he needs medical attention. He collapses. He needs medical attention. They call a doctor, and Andor, Loy, they stay with Olaf until what was it? One of the medics shows up, right?
Yeah, they brought a medic in to hopefully help him and everything, and
yeah,
the medic basically says there's nothing I can do. He's had a massive heart attack.
Yep, no,
or massive stroke.
It was a massive stroke.
Massive stroke.
And
there's nothing I can do. So I'm going to put him out of his misery, in as humane a way as I can.
Well, the other thing with that is he specifically says that's what we're told to do. We're not doctors, we're medics. We're told, end it. Just end it. If they can't do what they need to do, you're done.
Right.
So,
but then the questions come up.
Well, yeah, a lot of questions.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. They give him oxygen, and basically they just make him comfortable until the drugs kick in and he dies.
Right.
So he calls for the guards to get a bag and a trolley. Hey, you got to come pick him up. Got to come pick him up. Do what you got to do. They euthanize him, and that's when Loy starts questioning about level 2. Andor starts questioning about level 2. What happened? Because if he's a medic, he should know exactly what happened on level 2. And after the guard leaves, the medic tells him that there was a man who was just released on level 4, got arrested, and ended up back on level 2 the following day.
No, he didn't get arrested. They screwed up his transfer.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
They screwed up his transfer, and instead of going to another facility, he was brought back in on level 2.
Yep. So when word got out, they killed everybody.
Yep. Level 2 started raising hell. Maybe got a little bit out of hand. Didn't have any kind of a plan. They just started getting stupid, and the Empire said, "Beep."
Yep.
I'm done.
And that was kind of like the icing on the cake.
Well, it broke him.
Yes, it definitely broke Loy. Absolutely, 100%.
It broke Loy, and it confirmed what Andor or what Cass. Well, yeah, Andor, Cassidy, whatever you want to call it. It confirmed what he'd been thinking.
Yes, the entire time.
But the key thing about it was that it broke. It broke him.
Oh yeah, hands down.
It proved to him that you're never going home.
You're done. You are done.
When you're done there, they're going to transfer you to not home. They're going to transfer you to another prison.
Yep. So because
of all your sentence there, they're going to do the same damn thing.
Right, and because of their mistake, well, now they had to purge the entire floor.
Mm-hmm.
And trust me, there's plenty of criminals to go around in
Oh yeah.
the Galactic
Oh yeah.
Empire, you know.
Oh yeah.
But that was a big mistake.
Mhm.
So now the secret was out. Just because you're getting released doesn't mean you're going anywhere.
Right.
You're going to go to the tower next to you, or the tower next to that, or
Right.
maybe on
And
the other side of the world.
I want to backtrack real quick because it's a very important part that we forgot.
Which one?
And so we'll backtrack a little bit to where the scene where Cassian was initiated says, "Well, are they really criminal?"
At that time, yeah.
It is a very good point. You know,
Well,
'cause
but
technically,
but that's the thing. He does make a good point because remember,
yeah,
Andor got arrested for no reason.
yeah, yeah. It was a trumped up charge.
Yep.
But so flashback to the first scene where Cassian was cutting on the pipe, and he came back out, and the black guy was standing next to him.
Yep.
They were bringing a new guy in. They zapped the new guy. When the new guy went down, he grabbed the handrail.
Yes, and noticed that it wasn't electrified.
And the black guy looks at Cassian and says, now do you believe me that it's not hot? It's not,
Yeah, it's not electrified.
yeah, it's not linked in and electrified.
Yep. Initiator says he got arrested for why are you running? Exactly. That's exactly why you got. Why were you running? I was running.
I wasn't running. I was going to the store.
I was going this way. I was going.
But that's a key point. What he said to Cassian, because as we find out, if we fast forward back to where we are now, that will come up here in a few minutes.
Oh, hands down. Hands down. And you know, it sucks because this is we're going to try and get to the next episode really quick too. But at the same time, this was when Loy tells Andor there's only 12 guards per floor. There's only 12 guards per floor.
He only had to ask him once this time.
They outnumber the guards. And now that Andor knows that, that's where One Way Out comes in, episode 10.
Yep.
And boy, I want to center around just that. You know? Initiator says, I feel like I'm talking to people that are in the past with this, having finished the season. Well, that's the thing. I have finished the season. JT has 2 episodes left. And we started it late because we didn't want to cross over with She-Hulk or Werewolf by Night for Marvel. And once we're done this, we're going to do a special Christmas episode where we talk about the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special, which was awesome, by the way. JT, I don't know if you watched it yet, but
I actually watched it this weekend. It is good.
It was good. So She-Hulk was worth crossing over. Yeah, but we wanted to separate it because Star Wars and Marvel, so we wanted to keep it separate. So
that's the new show named Two Ewoks in the Park.
Yeah, 2 Ewoks in the Park. And yes, I'm working on new overlays for this, by the way. So in the long run, I kind of want to just center around what's going on. So I'm going to kind of do, for One Way Out, we've got a lot of stuff going on. We got the ISB putting plans in motion to do what they need to do in order to set this trap up for the Star Destroyer. We've got Davos helping Mothma bundle up all her transactions and do what she needs to do in order to show that she's not losing money, or that, you know, maybe they can put blame on somebody, so on and so forth.
It's not a 400,000 credit.
Yeah.
Balance missing.
Oh yeah. There's a lot going on.
Yes.
Kino is making some choices and still trying to find Andor, but decides that he's, gonna, do what he needs to do, I mean, not Kino. Kino is now helping Andor with the escape. Okay. Initiate. I can't remember which episode it was, 8, 9, or 10, but yes. Trust me. We're going to get there. Definitely noteworthy. Absolutely. This particular one, though, because yes, we've got a lot going on behind the scenes in Coruscant with Mon Mothma, her dealings and everything else like that. That's kind of peanuts compared to the escape.
Yeah,
from the prison.
The escape is huge. I mean, to be honest with you, other than the raid on the base to steal 80 million freaking credits.
Yeah.
Besides that, the escape is the biggest thing that's happened in this church.
And in this case, most people would be planning their escape and it would take like weeks, but Andor says, no, we need to do this tomorrow. We need to just boom, knock them and get them where it hurts as quickly as possible, which makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. If you have 12 guards per floor.
Well, and the fact that they sat there and zapped 100 people, 2 full shifts on a floor.
Yeah.
And had no repercussions from it. They're even more conceited than they were before.
Yes, absolutely. Hands down. I mean, think about it. Cassian even points out that there's over 5,000 men in this prison.
More than enough. More than enough to overpower them.
With only 12 guards per floor.
9 floors.
9 floors. Do the math. In this particular case, you had 100 guys on each floor. That's 100 versus 12. Not good odds.
Not really.
And
especially, and the key thing.
Yes.
The key thing is that Cassian has figured out a way to short the system.
Well, yes, but he doesn't really have a clear plan.
Well, no, because he's been trying to figure everything out himself, Whereas now he's got Loy and he's got all the other guys in their dorm on his side working with him to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
And, him figuring out how to short out the system is obviously key, because the system is what's keeping everybody in line. The fact that they know that all the Empire has to do is flip a switch and zap them is what's been keeping them in line this entire time.
Yes.
But Cassian has a way of shorting out the system, basically popping the fuse on the whole damn thing.
Let's break it.
At least for their floor.
Yes. Well, for their room.
For their pod, yeah.
Yeah, for their pod. And what I really like was, Andor flat out told him, no, listen, this is crucial because Yulof just died. They're going to replace him.
Yep.
So we need to make sure that we can get this done before the new prisoner comes in.
Yeah, and they're going to replace him tomorrow.
Yep. We're going to get the new guy tomorrow.
The new guy is going to come in tomorrow. So
let's do it.
To be tomorrow.
Yep. So let's do it. Let's get the ball in motion here. And
what's it going to hurt?
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, they confirmed that the prison guards fried the entire level. Fried the entire level 2.
Right.
They sent the guy back by mistake that had been released, so that's why they did it. They confirm it.
It had been released.
Yeah.
Got to get your air quotes on that.
And Kino confirms Andor's story and tells the other prisoners that they are not releasing anyone. Nobody cares. They're not listening. We're going from one prison to another. It's
no
one
one's
sentence
going home
to another sentence. We're never leaving. So now there's talk going on.
Yep.
Talk going on. And this is to be honest, I kind of knew where things were going with this one. I don't want to say it was predictable, but honestly, if you're going to electrocute people, what's the one way to short the system?
Right.
Water.
Well, and I couldn't. I don't know why, but it took me a minute, several minutes actually, to figure out exactly what Cassian was filing on, what he was trying to cut. I was thinking it was like maybe one of the trunk lines uh,
Okay.
for the system, for the electrical system or
Sure.
something like that. He was going to get into it. He was going to cut it or something.
Sure.
Which would be one thing I would look at. But it turns out that it was a plumbing line.
Yep.
It's a feed line for the plumbing.
Yep. So
And like you said, what's the best way to take out an electrical fence?
let's
Water.
fire it. Let's use water. Let's do what we need to do. The other thing is the guards announced that they're going to be on program for the rest of the night. So obviously they couldn't step up on the floor or do anything else, but they also had to report to their shifts as normal. So now we've got things starting to go in motion, The other thing is they get on program because the announcer comes over the speaker, hey, everybody on program, let's do this. We got a new prisoner incoming, so on and so forth. And Andor's still in the bathroom. The latrine, the refresher. He's still cutting
cranking on that pipe.
And it finally gets to the point where he's like, fuck it. And starts kicking it. Just starts doing damage to it to get that water out. I mean, that's really what he needed, was just a little bit of water.
If he didn't have it, it wasn't going to work.
Right. He just needed a little bit of water to be running out right onto the floor. So when he tells everybody, hey, jump, you jump, Yep. So
yep. Lloyd was like, everybody on the table.
Everybody on the table, get up, But that's the thing. And Initiator makes a very good point. He starts bashing the shit out of it. Absolutely. You need to. You need to, especially if you want the plan to work. Because if you think about it, 12 guys on each floor, their pod alone has only 4 guys, maybe 5. There's half your floor right there.
Their pod consists of the entire day shift.
Yeah, no, I mean the guards.
5 guys per. Oh, you mean guards?
The guards.
Yeah, gotcha.
Because their pod alone was just their pod.
Mm.
That wasn't all the other pods that are working during the day.
Right.
They had 6 tables. I know they didn't have 50 guys in that room. Initiator, can you find that out for me real quick?
There was 6 tables with a minimum of 6 guys each, or 6 guys per table. You're still looking at 36, 37 with Roy.
Yep.
So they're close to 40 people in each pod.
Yep. At least. At least. Okay. So from there, the plan is going into effect. He bashes the crap out of that pipe. Finally gets the water flowing. He's drenched, by the way. He's drenched. There's no hiding that.
Yeah. And luckily he was up underneath the platform, so you really couldn't see him.
Right. And, alarms start ringing due to the water burst and all that. So now there's shit happening. The alarms are going off. The new prisoner's coming down. And the lift stops, right? Because of the alarms going off.
Andor shoves a pipe into the lift system.
Yep.
Oh, 7 tables.
So 7 tables. So yeah, I mean, there very well could be close to that. Maybe 50 guys on in each pod or something like that. But that would mean there were more people on the floor than normal.
Right.
So from there, the guard issues orders to spark the floor, shock everybody, kill them all, But that's when Loy says, "Get up on the tables and be done with it."
The one guy didn't quite make it. Actually, I think it was 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah, there was a couple of them that didn't make it.
But
But
the one guy, I felt bad for the one guy because it was just his toes. It was just his toes that were
yeah,
still on
like
the floor. He's like,
he just missed it. Is what it was. But that caused the
shorted the
escape to
entire
happen.
system.
You know, you're gonna get it. So now once they shock the floor, there go the electrical systems. Done. It's over. Now they can get down, they can climb up, they can do what they need to do, and that's when the entire revolt starts to begin, and they begin climbing the lift to get out and storm the guard room. Which,
You got to take out the two guards inside the room
yep,
first.
take out the two guards. They already took out the
Well,
guard
get
on the
out.
lift. He's already out, so that's a
Yep.
great thing, you know. And then other news starts going through the entire tower. Guards are saying that, you know, the flooding and the riot in 52D, it's starting to spread to the other floors, and other prisoners are starting to go, huh, what? There's an
Well,
escape going
because
on?
they get up, they take over their pod,
Yep.
the control pad on their pod and everything, and then they start spreading out through level 5
Yes.
and opening the gate, the doors, and come with us first.
Yep.
You know, blah blah blah.
Yep. And but at the same time, the other thing is they split up.
Yeah, you're not seeing Cassian and Lloyd.
Yeah, because
You're seeing all the other guys.
Because the two of them and a bunch of guys are going up to level 8 to break into the main control room.
Right.
And let everybody out. Which,
Well, I mean, if you think about it, that's what you have to do. You have to get to
yeah,
the nerve center, you know, the control center of the entire prison in order to be able to do this.
yep,
You know, because they can very easily override the system and just, you know, turn on the zapper for the entire building,
absolutely.
you know. So you've got to get up there. You've got to take it over, you know. I had to laugh at, you know, he's asking the guy a question and he wouldn't answer. So he shot the other guy.
Yep. Which made the other guard go, okay, I'll do it. Shut down the
He might
hydro generators. Let's get this show on the road.
I found that very interesting is that it was water that for some reason it never dawned on me that it was going to, that they were using the water, which we were like completely surrounded by,
Yeah.
to use that for their power. I don't know why that never dawned on me.
Yeah. Well, from there, you know, we get to the point where, you know, now that the hydro generators are down, the guards are pretty much held at gunpoint, telling them to do what they want to do. Andor tells Kino, you need to make the announcement.
Do your thing.
You need to get all these men to work together.
Yep.
Because it's not going to work coming from me.
And he sits here and he starts talking. He says, you know, I'm so and so. I'm floor 5. I was, you know, floor 5 lead, blah blah blah, and everything else.
Yeah.
And Cassian looks at him and goes, "That's the best you've got.
You got to do better than that if you want."
You got to convince these people what's going on."
Yeah.
You know, and then, you know, he finally really got into himself.
Yeah.
And was able to make the announcement, and you know, it worked.
Well, he also
it was just really cool.
He also confirms that all 100 men on level 2 were killed.
Yep.
And that's really what got the other prisoners motivated in order to start the escape. And you know,
Get the hell out of Dodge.
What I really liked was seeing the montage of all the prisoners escaping and all the guards hiding.
Yep.
Completely armed.
They had that one thing of all the guards sitting ducking down in that one room.
Ducking down in rooms, holding on. And you see some prisoners go by and see them, but they just keep going. Because they know they're outnumbered. I'm not getting involved in that. No way. Yep. I want to live. Let them escape.
Right.
You know? And that's kind of what you would have to do in that type of situation. You got to let them escape. Because otherwise it's going to be hell on earth, and you don't want that. You know?
You know, it's a, you know, a fight or flight thing again. You know, do you want to live? If you want to live, hide.
Yep.
You know, don't confront these guys, because everybody that's confronted them so far because they have been taking the guards' weapons and
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and all that stuff, and going around and zap zap zap, anybody that guards that they run into, killing them, and
Yeah.
Initiator says there's still something more interesting here, kind of glossed over.
What would that be? Please
Yes,
enlighten us.
please
Because
inform us.
because as that's going on, and as he brings up his comment, now they're starting to make their way up through all the levels. They're going through all the sky bridges, all the other floors are starting to converge, and they get into the top. The guards are in fear for their lives, so they're not even doing anything. And when they finally get to the top, there's only one way out.
Right.
The
I don't
tower itself,
Initiator, I don't think that hasn't been. I mean, I know because I looked it up. Sully knows because he's seen it, and you have too. But I don't think they've gotten to where they reveal what they were building yet.
Yeah, that'll be in next week's episode because we don't want to touch on that. That's next week. Next week because we know. Well, I know what happens. I don't want to ruin it for JT, but JT already kind of knows what they're building. But we'll get into that. So yes, it is important, but not right now.
Yeah.
Next week it'll definitely be important. In this case, once they get to the top and they're about to escape, well, now they look down and oh shit, there's water. That's a lot of water.
Mm-hmm.
And the guards just start jumping.
Not the guards, the prisoners.
The prisoners. Sorry, the prisoners just start jumping. Hey, we're free. We're going. And
I kind of got the feeling of The Rock on this in San Francisco. The old prison.
Oh, Alcatraz. Yeah. Well, I mean, think about it. It's surrounded by water, so I get it. But if they survive the drop, they start swimming, and good for them. But this is also where
how good of a swimmer are you? And that's where we run into a problem.
Yeah, but this is also where we see the last of Kino, because as everybody's jumping to freedom, Andor is about to go, and he tells Kino, "Come on, you got to jump. You got to come on, come with me. You got to jump.
Swim. I don't know how to swim.
Yeah, that's the thing. I can't swim."
And then Cassian gets knocked off the platform by another prisoner.
Yeah. So he gets knocked off. All the other prisoners are going down, and that's the last we see of Kino. So we don't even know if he made it out alive or not.
I'm wondering.
I would like to think he did, because honestly, somebody would help him.
I would think. I mean, Cassian would have. If he hadn't got knocked off, he would have reached over and said, "Come on, let's go. I'll help you." He
would have helped them, no problem. No problem. But at the same time, it is a prison facility, so there's probably some type of vehicle around. You just got to go find it.
Maybe.
Because I mean, they brought prisoner transports to the tower all the time.
But they flew in.
Yes, they did fly in.
They didn't come in by boat. They came in, they flew in.
Right. So there's got to be something. So maybe we'll see him in the next season. I don't know.
It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see.
At the same time, we've got the spy master and the double agent going around, which, I mean, it's Luthen.
It's not who I expect. The double agent's not who I expected it to be.
No, it was not.
I wouldn't think that the redheaded guy was a double agent.
Yeah, and the one thing with that is Luthen, also known as Axis.
Mm-hmm.
He really is the mastermind.
Yeah.
I mean, really, he's like Nick Fury. He is the spy, the guy.
Oh, and this is where we find out how long this has really been going on.
Yes. This has been going on, no joke, probably shortly after Order 66.
6 years.
Yeah.
6 years that the double agent has been in the system working his way up.
Yeah. So
6 years now.
That's 6 years after Revenge of the Sith.
Mm-hmm.
And think about it. Revenge of the Sith, everything became the first galactic empire. We already saw people were doing, no, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. And it just got worse and worse. And that's where, like I said, this takes place 5 years before the Battle of Yavin. So things have been in motion.
Yeah.
And this is the year of, screw you, we're doing this. Boom. We're hitting them hard. We're hitting them hard. So now not only did they have the heist, they've got the money they need for the Rebel Alliance in order to buy the ships and everything that they need in order to fight back. We've got Cassian doing whatever he needs to do right now to get back into the fray, so to speak.
Get the hell out of jail.
Yeah. He's out of prison now. He's swimming. He's swimming. And we're getting more and more information about Miro and why she's interested in the Ferrex incident and how the double agent doesn't want to be the middleman anymore. He's done. He's done with this. I'm done. I want to be with my family, do whatever I need to do, so on and so forth, And it's getting to that point in time where even Luthen's like, you can't back out. You're in it. You're done.
Like, I need heroes.
Yeah. Are you a hero or are you just a door jam?
Are you a hero or a zero?
Hero zero. So in a lot of ways, it's interesting to see. And don't get me wrong, like I love that Luthen is playing the double agent. I really do. Like his role as an antiquities collector, and then all of a sudden being the mastermind of the Rebel Alliance and getting things squared away is amazing.
Yeah.
It really is. You really see his true colors.
Yeah, and you really got a feel for him when the red-haired guy goes, "What are you giving up?" You talk about how he's giving up time with his family and blah 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 and this and that and the other thing, and he asks him, "What are you giving up?" And it was a very interesting speech that he gave him.
Yeah.
He's talking about, I've given up any hope of, being with anybody, or, this, that, and the other thing. And what he said was very, very convincing and very, very important.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
It was a nice little speech.
And just to touch up on that, the speech itself, he said that he had given up calm,
yep,
kindness,
yep,
kinship, love, and peace.
Mm-hmm.
And,
yep,
it's funny because I've mentioned it many episodes ago where Luthen is a believer. Mm-hmm. We know he's a believer. He believes that the Empire should not be in control and that the people need to stand up and fight for themselves to get and gain back control. He knows this.
Right.
For him, this is a battle that no matter what happens, the future is not for him.
Right.
And he knows this.
He'll never have the sit down. He'll never have the banquet in his honor kind of thing and all that. You know?
He knows that the freedom of the galaxy is not for him.
Yeah.
Will that be exposed somewhere down the line? Probably not. But I guarantee you he's going to be even more of a factor in the next season.
Right.
However, we still have 2 more episodes to go. Because that's where the episode ends. And now, mind you, guys, I know we kind of glossed over this episode, but really the escape was the important part.
Yes.
Everything happening with the bureaucracy and the senators and everything with Mon Mothma, we know she's having financial troubles. We know she's at the verge of being under a microscope and being investigated.
There was one interesting thing that happened with Mon Mothma that took me a minute.
Which one?
And it was towards the end of the episode. She just got done doing her little speech with the Senate and all that good crap. Get back in the car. and the driver goes, I was told that your cousin or aunt or whatever
Mm-hmm.
has arrived at the embassy. And she's like, what? And the person that this is the lady that led the raid.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought that was very interesting that she was actually there. It truly seems like they actually are family,
Well,
because
they are.
as she was leaving, she told her, take some time to enjoy the rich life.
Yeah. Enjoy
You
it.
know, and she said, well, I can't do that. I made a vow to rebellion.
Yep. I'm
You
doing
know,
this whether you like it or not.
that time will come down the road, hopefully.
It's coming at us, folks. It's coming at us.
I like how they ended the episode. The way that they ended the episode was really very interesting.
Yeah.
It it kind of had the end of the Incredible Hulk
Oh.
episode feel to it,
The
where he's
Lonely
walking down the
Man.
road, hitchhiking and everything, and it's Andor and one other guy, and all I can say is, holy crap, there were a lot of people who didn't have much endurance if they were the only two that made it to land.
Well, we don't know that though.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If they were the only two that made it, but they focused on these two making it, and they're running across the land. And as they turn around, and this was what gave me that feeling, as they focus in, watching them from behind as they're running across this wide open expanse.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was a great way to end the episode.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we at least, obviously we know he escapes. We know he survives because he's in Rogue One. But it's
Right.
at that point now where it's okay. Now that they're out, they're still on the run. What's going to happen next?
Exactly.
Exactly. And that's something that we will definitely talk about next week when we cover the last two episodes of Andor. Oh yeah, 11 and 12. Hoo, hoo, hoo. And boy, there's some revealing shit going on with that one. But
that's going to be a 2-hour episode. So how many Rebel Alliance emblems do you give episodes 9 and 10?
So this week I actually give both of those a 4.75. Mostly because between the two episodes, that build up to the escape was absolutely amazing.
Okay.
It really was. It captured how prisoners talk to each other.
Mm-hmm.
It captured how attentive to detail Andor really is. And we've seen it before, but now we've seen it even better.
Yep.
Because like I said, he's an observer. He observes things. And he can figure things out so quick. And he knew that was the only way to get everybody out was to fry the system. And he had been working on it. He'd been working on it without him. If they didn't want to escape, he was going to do it with or without him.
Yep.
It would have sucked, 1 against 12, but now he turned the tables and did whatever. So I'm going 4.75, my friend. What about you?
4.5 and 4.75. Initiator says extra crispy.
Yes.
With
a little spice.
You're right. And the only reason 9 is only a 4.5 and 10 is a 7.5 is because of the actual escape.
Yes.
But you are right. The way they did these two episodes, and that's why I said at the beginning that these are the perfect two episodes to watch back to back. Because you have the build up to the escape, and then you have the escape.
Yeah.
And the action in the escape, in my opinion, was better than the action at the Rebel raid.
Yeah. And the other
not
thing
by
is,
much.
I like that they got the backstory, like the side stories going on. I like that they got that done before the escape. Because
because that way, that entire episode, they could focus 90% of that episode on the escape.
Exactly. And that's what I think made it work so well.
Right.
You know, and yeah, it's one of the highest rated episodes that I'm giving it right now. Is that 4.75 because
Yeah.
really it's awesome. It was
Yeah.
awesome.
It
It was
it was. It really was.
it,
And the build up in episode 9, the way they did that and everything happened with Olaf, and everything else. I had the feeling that something was going to happen to him.
yeah,
He was the old guy in the room. Something that struck to try and be a part of something as stressful as the escape.
yeah,
He would have been a hindrance to them
yes,
because
absolutely.
they would have had at least one, if not two, people trying to help him along and everything else. They were going to have to kill him off. I hate to
Yes,
say that, but they were
no,
going to have to kill him off to make this not only successful but believable.
as as they put it, it was the push that they needed.
Yep, yep.
It was the push
Because
that they needed.
that's when they got the information.
Yep.
That's when they found out that
Yes, it's
there
true.
really is only one way out of this place. And during the entire escape,
Yeah.
that's what they were chanting, even as they're jumping into the water. One way out, one way out.
Yep. One way out.
And
Just
and
go and
that
do it.
theme really pushed the episode.
Yeah.
It really
Absolutely.
did. So, and that's why that's the only reason that I gave the 4.5 and the 7.5 was because this was the build up to this.
Yeah. And it worked.
So it did. It really, really did. They did an excellent job on these 2 episodes.
And it worked. Well, my friends, that is 2 Ewoks in the Park for this week. Yes, I know I still have the Avenger Pretenders logos and whatnot. I'm working on it.
We're working at it, man.
On it. New stuff coming along. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I want to thank everybody who watches the post show because they always watch it afterward, which is perfectly fine. We appreciate any type of video views, so on and so forth, whether it's on YouTube, Twitch, DLive, you name it, it's there. And what I would like to do is let everybody know that we will be live next Monday to tackle episodes 11 and 12 of Andor. And we will also be live tomorrow between 8 and 10 p.m. Eastern Time for the Sully Show, where we're going to have some funny things going on because we're getting closer and closer to Christmas. And my God, it's amazing. It really is. Because JT's going to be like, oh, we got Christmas theme again. Yes, we do. So, for JT and myself, thank you for tuning in. And we will see you guys next week for 2 Ewoks in the Park. Have a great night, everybody. And we'll see you all tomorrow because, well, that's how we roll. Good night, everybody.